Faithful witnesses of courage and charity, Pope Sixtus II, his deacons, and Saint Cajetan. This reflection is prepared by Father Aube Francis, pastor at St. Jude Church, Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. Saint Sixtus II and his companion deacons, witnesses to the faith. Pope Saint Sixtus II, birth, date uncertain, likely in Greece. Papacy, elected pope into 57 AD, place of ministry, Rome. Historical context: he became pope during the fierce persecution of Christians by Emperor Valerian, who had issued edicts targeting bishops, priests, and deacons, forbidding Christian gatherings and demanding the execution of church leaders. Achievements and ministry. Pope Sixtus II was known for his gentleness, wisdom, and dedication to preserving the unity and structure of the Church during dangerous times. He succeeded Pope Stephen I and chose to continue celebrating the sacraments and teaching the faith despite the risk of arrest. He often met secretly with the faithful in catacombs to celebrate the Eucharist. Martyrdom. On August 6 to 58 AD, while celebrating Mass at the catacombs of St. Calixtus, he was arrested by Roman soldiers along with his deacons. Pope Sixtus was immediately beheaded on the spot. His peaceful surrender and calm courage gave strength to the early Church, confirming him as a shepherd who laid down his life for his sheep. His companion martyr deacons, for deacons were martyred with the Holy Father: 1. Saint Januarius, 2. Saint Vincent, 3. Saint Magnus, 4. Saint Stephen, not to be confused with the proto-martyr. They stood by the Pope during the Eucharist, aware of the risk, choosing fidelity to Christ over fear of death. They were executed shortly after Sixtus, bearing witness to their devotion and unity with their spiritual father. One of the other deacons, St. Lawrence, was spared temporarily and later executed 3 days later. His famous quote, "Turn me over, I am done on this side," while being roasted alive, became a symbol of the joy and boldness of Christian martyrdom. Lessons from Pope Sixtus and his deacons: courage in persecution. They did not run from danger but embraced martyrdom as a witness to eternal life. Unity in service. The close bond between the Pope and his deacons shows the harmony of the Church's hierarchy in service to the people. Faith over fear. In a world where Christians were targeted, they chose fidelity over compromise. Saint Cajetan, priest and reformer, birth and early life, born October 1, 1480. Place: Vicenza, Republic of Venice, modern-day Italy. Full name: Gaetano dei Conti di Teen. Saint Cajetan was born to a noble family and received a solid humanistic and legal education. He earned a doctorate in civil and canon law from the University of Padua. Though deeply spiritual, he served in the papal court under Pope Julius II. Priesthood and reform. Ordained a priest in 1516, Cajetan was moved by the poor and the spiritual corruption within the Church. He dedicated his life to both spiritual renewal and practical charity. In 1524, with the help of Gian Pietro Carafa, later Pope Paul IV, he co-founded the Theatines, a congregation of priests committed to reforming the clergy through personal holiness, preaching and pastoral care, living in community with no personal property, renewing the Church from within. The Theatines became a model of reform and holiness before the Council of Trent, influencing later religious communities like the Jesuits. Works of charity. Saint Cajetan deeply cared for the poor and unemployed. He founded hospitals and even created a system that resembled modern-day credit unions to help the poor escape from loan sharks. Demonstrating his commitment to social justice. Death. Date of death: August 7, 1547. Place: Naples, Kingdom of Naples, modern Italy. Last words: a prayer of union with Christ and total abandonment to God's will. Lessons from Saint Cajetan. Faith and action go together. He taught that personal holiness must be matched with love for the poor. Spiritual reform starts with self. He did not condemn the Church, but lived as a model of what the Church should be. Charity is creative. His economic and social innovations show how Christians can make lasting change. Conclusion and meditation. The lives of Pope Sixtus II, his martyr deacons, and Saint Cajetan remind us that the Church is built on the witness of those who love without counting the cost, whether through sacrificial martyrdom or faithful service to the poor. They call each of us to renew our faith and live courageously in service of Christ and others. Reflection question: in what way can I offer myself more fully to Christ today by defending the faith like the martyrs or serving the poor like Saint Cajetan?